to talk about self-sabotage. Yes. And the reason why I wanted to speak on this topic is because this is something that I myself am working on. Because the amount of times that I have self-sabotaged is alarming. Yeah, I'm ashamed to say. Yes. So, where do we start? First, what is self-sabotage? Well, I got some notes here, okay, because I couldn't remember the definition off the top of my head. I'm gonna be honest, okay? So, self sabotage is the act or habit of behaving in a way that interferes directly with one's own goals, well being, relationships, etc. Hello. So, basically, for me, anytime that I felt like a situation was gonna go bad, I would subconsciously begin to sabotage whatever was happening, right? So I had an opportunity to apply for a program at my job, and I didn't believe that I was qualified enough or that I knew enough about the topic to actually do it. So I talked myself out of doing it, right? Now, of course, the only person who could tell me no is the person that's running the program, right? And all applicants were welcome. It's not like it was, oh, you have to have this experience, you have to have this knowledge. Like, no. It was an opportunity for me to expand my horizons and to interact with more people throughout the company, even more people that were actually in the corporate office. And I talked myself out of it because I had so much self doubt. I had so many negative things to say about myself that I didn't actually go ahead and take that opportunity. So like I sabotaged it. I wasn't actually putting in the effort to be the best that I could be or, do my best work. And therefore, ultimately, that disqualified me for the program without me even applying for it, which sucks. I shouldn't have done that. But I did. I did. And I made a lot of excuses, which a lot of people do. Ultimately, it kind of like why do we self sabotage? What it like why? If you know for a fact that what you're doing isn't good, it's not going to benefit you. Why in the world would you do it? And sometimes it's low self esteem. You don't really have confidence. You're not confident in yourself. You're not confident in your abilities. The fear of failure. The fear of success, and by that I mean like you're afraid that if you do get that job, if you do get into that relationship, if you do get that new house, you're not going to be able to maintain it. So you're just going to put in all this work for nothing, right? And it's like you have so many questions of what ifs, but all of them are negative. Like, what if it doesn't go right? What if I fail? What if I lose it all? And I had to learn that I had to reframe my mindset, right? So instead of me being like, oh, what could go wrong? What could go right? Like, why is it that I always jump to the negative? Why is it that I can always focus on the bad? Why? Why can't I just be like, you know what? What's the best that could happen? Yeah, like, yeah, what if I get this house and then I do A, B, C, and D? And no, it's always what could go wrong? What could go wrong? And it's easier said than done, okay? Because I could sit here all day and be like, yeah, I had to change my mindset and I had to change my mind for yeah. It's easier said than done. Yeah, because there are times still to this day where my first thought is what could go wrong, and then after a few moments, I'm like, wait, let's stop, let's rewind, let's think about the positives first. Let's do that, okay? And I'm one of those people where like if my plan A doesn't work, I'm like I'm done. I'm over it. It's not like, oh, okay, plan A didn't work. Let's try plan B or plan C or plan D. Like, no, I ultimately go to, okay, plan A didn't work. So clearly this is not for me. I'm done. Yeah, that gets you absolutely nowhere. That will get you absolutely nowhere. And one thing that I've realized is that sometimes we have to stop listening to that internal voice that feeds us negativity. Okay. And a lot of times the negative voice that you're hearing is yourself. And even worse than that, a lot of times the negative things that you are telling yourself, no one else has told you these things. No one has been like, oh no, you can't do that. A lot of times it's you telling yourself that you can't do it. Yeah. Like, no one told me that I wasn't qualified. No one told me that I wasn't intelligent. No one told me any of these things. I told myself. And then myself, just kind of fed into it, right? My internal voice, like, girl, you know what? You all right. I don't think I don't think, because you know how you are, though. You like to procrastinate. Sometimes, you can be real lazy. So I don't, my internal voice was literally just feeding stuff that I've been telling myself. Ain't that crazy? Yeah, yeah. So the real challenge is really breaking the pattern. That's the challenge. That's the ultimate challenge, is actually breaking the pattern. Now, how in the world do you do that? That is a good question. So I did some research and I wrote down some steps, some four steps, a challenge for myself, a challenge for you, if you will. If you also self-sabotage, okay, which we're not going to do, okay? 2026 is right around the corner and we're not going to self-sabotage. That's what we're not going to do, okay? I'm going to repeat that again. We're not going to do that, all right? We are not going to do that, all right? So, step one is awareness, okay? We need to notice the trigger or pattern. Like, what happens that causes me to do this? So, what triggers this? Okay, so is it when I'm put in a position where I'm uncomfortable? Is it where I'm put in a position where I know that I'm going to have to work harder than what I'm used to? Is it unfamiliar? Like, what is causing it? And for me, I have slight control issues. My husband would say slight. You have slight control. I have control issues. So if I don't know the outcome, if I cannot control the outcome, if it is completely out of my hands, I panic. I shut down because I'm like, there are 1,000 scenarios going on in my head right now, and none of them are saying this is gonna work. All of them are worst case scenario, and I'm thinking about it because if the worst case scenario happens, I'm prepared, right? I'm protecting myself. And a lot of times that's what self-sabotage does. It's kind of you trying to protect yourself from things that you're afraid are going to happen. So in your mind, you're like, okay, cool. Well, if I'm expecting the worst to happen, I won't be disappointed, right? But if I'm thinking about the best and then the worst happens, look, I've let myself down. But then you end up missing out on so many opportunities because you're thinking like that. So you really think about, okay, cool, what triggers this, right? Step two is rewrite the story. So instead of thinking what could go wrong, think of all the positive outcomes. So the moment you are faced with a situation, don't go to OMG, this is the 10 things that could happen that are going to be absolutely terrible. No, instead, list the 10 things that are going to go great. Okay? I'm going to apply for this job, and these are the 10 things that are going to happen. I'm going to go after this dream, and this is the best that could happen. Reach for the stars. That's pretty much what I have to do. And again, it's easier said than done because it's going to take some time, because at first your mind is automatically going to go to negative, 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 bad, bad, bad. So you have to stop and be like, hold on now. We're not going to do that. What's the best that could happen? What is the absolute best that could happen? Okay? The next thing is accountability. Yes. Because you have to hold yourself accountable, right? We can't work toward a goal and then not hold ourselves accountable because, yikes. So that would be, journaling your progress or having a friend hold you accountable. So, you go to your friend, or, you go to a family member you trust, you be like, okay, listen, I want to do A, B, C, and D. Okay? But I'm going to need you to check up, just to see if I'm actually doing A, B, C, and D. And if you notice that I'm not, be like, hey girl, you slipping, because remember you said you weren't going to do that anymore. You said you wanted to do this, and it seems like you haven't done it. So sometimes you might need somebody else to just, give you that little nudge, like push you in the right direction. You feel me? That could help. That could help. And, and the next step is really to celebrate the small wins, because a lot of times we have a tendency, I'm not even gonna say we, I'm gonna say I have a tendency to only want to celebrate myself when I've done something big, All right. So it has to be like a major accomplishment for me. I don't celebrate the small things, right? So like I say, cool, I want to post consistently on, social media, but I won't celebrate myself until, I see the results of that. So until I, see the big outcome, I'm not going to celebrate it. Instead of being like, you know what, girl, you literally posted consistently for 2 weeks. Like, pat yourself on the back. Look at you, you're making progress. That's what you have to do. A lot of times we want to wait until we can finish the whole staircase before we're like, you go, you do that. Instead of being like, you know what, you're on the next step. We're on step 2, we're on step 3, we're on step 4. That's progress, okay? Progress over perfection. That's the goal. That's the goal. You want to celebrate your small wins, all right? So, again, because I went over that kind of fast, all right? Step 1 is awareness. Step 2 is to rewrite the story. Step 3 is accountability. And then step 4 is to celebrate the small wins. Okay? And again, it's not going to happen overnight. All right, as I'm recording this video, I'm literally like, yeah, I kind of skipped a couple steps. Yeah, I should probably go back and apply that to myself. Yeah. But I just want to share that with you all because I like to be transparent. I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert, but I like to share what I go through because there is somebody else right now who is watching this video and they're like, "Ooh, I do that." Over there talking yourself out of your blessings because you're afraid of what could happen. That's self-sabotage. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yes, bad things are gonna happen because that's life. But if you're always expecting bad things to happen, okay. That saying when they say you attract what you fear? And sometimes people will be joking. They're like, oh, I fear $1,000. Like, no, you really do attract what you fear. If you fear failure, that's what's going to come. If you fear that you're never going to find the right person for you, if you fear you're never going to find a job, if you fear that you're never going to be your best self, and if you fear your dreams never going to come true, you're attracting every single thing that you fear. Anytime you think, everything starts in your mind. You think it and then you speak it, and your words have power. You're speaking things into existence. Anytime you say, oh, I'm never going to do this, I'm never going to do that, well, that's what you just said. So you can't be surprised when what you said happened, because that's what you said, right? So yeah, we just gotta, I have to do better. We have to do better. Okay? So I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate the love and support. Make sure to like, share, comment, all this. If this video resonates with you, share in the comments your own personal experiences. What you go through, what you've been doing, because you might have, you might have some insight that I don't. You might be able to help us this out, and I appreciate that because I'll take it. I will. All right. But that's all I have for today, y'all. All right. Peace, love.